Hey everyone, I'm making an update to stuff I've been doing. This one actually has some stuff to do with Nerf, which I've kind of slowed down my progress in a little bit recently because I've been working on other stuff. Primarily among which was this vest and this sword. But I'm more or less done with this sword. I just need to get some paracord, which I will have to drive somewhere to get and actually have money in order to buy. But so that's not happening anytime soon. So that's kind of on holdish. I need to finish the sheath too. I need to actually make a belt thing for it. And this vest, which I showed you in the last video where I was cutting up firewood with my sword. Just a little bit of information. This is 14 gauge wire, 5/16 inch interior diameter rings. There's around 7,300 of them, 7,300, between 7,300 and 7,500. I'm not exactly sure. I don't do particularly accurate ring counts on my stuff. So anyway, as for the Nerf thing that I was talking about, it is this, which is possibly the ugliest thing I have ever done in the history of my nerfing career. This, as well, if you've watched any of my earlier videos, you'll know that I have a Titan rifle. And when I bought that Titan tank, it came with a Hornet. And I've just had that Hornet sitting around for quite some time now, and I've been trying to figure out what to put it in so that it could actually look decent. But then I just said, fuck it, I'll just make it work. And so I hot glued the shit out of everything and sealed it up pretty nicely. The pump I left attached, the release buttons I left intact, and the this button, which is actually the trigger for it, I also left intact. And I basically routed these pipes down into these first three tanks here, and then put shorter tubes leading into these tubes. There it is. These tubes leading into these tubes from the other three tanks. So all 6 tanks route into 3 tubes which go into this PVC-T, which is sealed back here, and so that all the air goes through this barrel. And I've just put one of my sliding cpvc PVC breeches in it for demonstration purposes. So this thing achieves easy hundreds with like 20 pumps, and with 30 it's also pretty powerful. Upwards of, whenever I pump it up 40 times, it gets kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure what happens, but it just doesn't seem to like that, so I'm not going to bother pumping it up that much. But I'll pump it up for you and load it. Let me see. Okay, here's... Now, let me get a better dart. Here we go. Here's one of my newer chainmail slugs that I made just a couple weeks ago. There we go. Stick it in there. Now I'll pump it up, I think, 25 times. Oh, that was 30. Oh well. And I actually can't push this button with my finger. My finger is too big to get in there, so I have to use a little steel tool that I made for other purposes, but it works pretty well for this. I'm not going to shoot the walls because it leaves little black marks and dents in the walls, so I'm just going to shoot a piece of armor I have hanging up. Let's see. There it is. Well, yes. Something about either that breech and or this T is that breech does not like to stay in this T, so I'm going to try that again. Last time, oh well, it definitely hit it though. There was a little magnet stuck on it that is not stuck on it anymore. Let me make sure I've got this really nicely wedged in there. There we go. Where's that dart? There it is. Stick that back in there. There we go. 30 times again. Okay, let's try shooting this again. And hopefully the breech will not pop off this time. There we go. Haha. Yeah, I have 3 brand new dents from this thing in that armor, which were not there yesterday, so I'm very satisfied with this thing. It's definitely war-worthy. If I can actually get to any wars, I'll definitely bring this. I don't know, I might bring it as a loner, I guess, because I doubt I'll be using it very much. I'll probably use my snap bow, mostly. But anyway, and the last thing is some progress I've gotten done on my costume for the Hobbit premieres, which is going to be a dwarf costume. I've decided that I'm going to be going as Dane Ironfoot. If you've read The Hobbit, you know who that is. If you haven't read The Hobbit, you're going to find out next year. I figured since he hasn't been depicted in any art that's been released yet, I figured I would have the most creative freedom with that, so... plus he's described in the book, at least to a certain extent, but that also leaves quite a bit of creative freedom open. So basically, the biggest part that I'm doing for it is a big chainmail coat. It's going to be almost floor length, maybe up to the top of my boots or something. But it's going to be pretty darn long, and I figured I want to have it done for this year's premiere. Even though he's not actually going to show up in this movie, I don't think. Well, he might briefly, depending on what they do. But his main involvement will be in the next movie. Most likely. But I figured if I tried to make an actual chainmail coat out of real metal, like this stuff, it would take way longer than I have and cost way more than I can afford. So I decided to do it differently, which is actually a method I created based on what Weta Workshops did when they were making their chainmail for the Lord of the Rings movies, which is make it out of pipe, which is this stuff. I think I've showed you some before. But this is all made out of 1/2-inch cpvc pipe, which I painted silver. And it's got regular chainmail dynamics, and it's really, really light compared to actual real chainmail. Now, this is just my first completed painted piece. I basically lay out all the rings after I've cut them. Let me see. I've got a couple thousand here. Now, in this garbage bin. But I'm going to need several thousand more. Possibly upwards of probably between 20 and 30,000 rings total. And then I lay them out on just a piece of paper outside, and I spray paint them, wait for them to dry, and then turn them all over and spray paint them again. I do about 200 at a time. And it takes a long time as well, but it's going to be way lighter and much less expensive. The most expensive part of this is going to be the spray paint, but that's survivable. And the great thing is I only have to actually break open half of them. Like, as you can see, this ring is completely closed. It can't be pulled open unless extreme forces are applied. Half of the rings are just like this. Half of the rings, on the other hand, are cut open so that I can actually put the chainmail together. As you can see there, that opens, and yeah. So that's how I'm doing that part of my costume. There'll be other parts too that'll involve actual metal, and I'll be kind of learning how to sew some stuff for this as well, so that'll be fun. But I'm quite happy with how this is turning out so far. I've still got a lot of work to do, but I suppose that's it for now. Have a great day, do good work, and I'll see all you guys later. Thanks for watching.